Right, so we're going to start our second class into our second week of isolation. I thought it would be quite nice to base this one on awareness today. It's been a week into our lockdown and some things might be coming up, whether that's mental or physical, so I thought it would be quite nice to take a moment to really bring some more mindfulness into the body, into our practice today. Okay, so in saying that, we're going to start off in our Shavasana. So if you just want to come down onto the floor, just allow the feet to flop over to either side. Maybe just squeeze the shoulder blades in a little bit here and then just allow the palms to fall open. A deep breath here, and as you exhale, starting to close the eyes. And just taking a moment here to feel the weight of the body on the mat. To feel the bones growing heavy and supported by the mat or the ground underneath you. Taking a moment to check in here with the breath without trying to manipulate it, just noticing maybe the rise and fall of the chest or the belly, noticing whether the breath is shallow or deep here. And then taking that awareness a little wider and noticing how you're feeling mentally today at this very moment without any expectations or judgments as to what you should be feeling or how you should be feeling. As we move through this practice today, paying special awareness or attention towards any emotions that might be coming up as we move through the body. We tend to hold onto our emotions in our physical sense, so maybe noticing any areas of tension today. We'll start with a body scan here, so bringing our awareness down to our feet. You can physically squeeze the muscles of the feet here, or just allow the awareness to settle on the feet, feeling the connection to the mat or the ground underneath you. Move up through the tops of the feet and the ankles, to the shins and the calves, through the knees, the tops of the legs and the thighs. Towards the hips and underneath to the sit bones, the glutes, feeling the mat underneath you. Come up through the lower back and the belly here, noticing what might be coming up. Through to the rib cage and the chest, to the back and the shoulder blades on the mat here. Coming down to the fingers, taking a moment here to mentally, or you can physically touch each finger to the thumb. Mindful of movement here. Up through the palms, the wrists, the forearms, the elbows. Bringing that awareness up through the tops of the arms and the shoulders. Towards the neck. Bring our awareness towards our face, noticing if you're maybe clenching the jaw, Bringing softness towards the brow. And then all the way to the crown of the head here. Take a moment here as well to either set yourself an intention for your practice or for the day or the week, a goal or something to focus on, maybe even a dedication of your practice here, something to send your energy towards. Maybe dedicating your practice to yourself, for taking the time to arrive on your mat. Friend or family member in need of a bit of extra energy just now. And starting to take the breath a little bit deeper here, so breathing from the belly. You can either keep both hands where they are or place one hand on the belly and one on the heart. We'll start with our full yogic breath here. So inhaling deeply into the belly, feeling the belly swell with air as we move up through the rib cage towards the chest. And then exhaling slowly, letting chest come down and belly to empty. Inhaling deeply into the belly, following the journey of the breath as it moves through the rib cage up towards the chest. And then exhaling slowly, allowing chest to come down and bringing navel towards spine. Just allow your yogic breath to go to your own rhythm here, taking your time. Enjoying a few deep breaths for yourself. The mind to use the breath here as an anchor, something to focus on. Trying to follow this journey of the breath. Bringing a little bit of calm and quiet into your practice. Enjoying 3 breaths here, and your last ones, making them your deepest yet. Come to the end of your breath. Just allow the hands to fall at either side of the body here. Perfect. And start to wiggle the toes here. Just gently sway the head and neck from side to side, bringing some life into the body. Rubbing the fingertips together. Maybe make some small circles in the wrists and hands here. And then when you're ready, starting to blink the eyelids open. Just walk the knees up towards the chest and crossing the ankles the opposite way to what you would habitually cross them. So it might feel a little bit weird. And then just allowing yourself to rock from side to side on the spine, giving it a nice massage. Perfect. So we'll bring the fingers and hands just underneath the knees here and starting to rock on the spine, just gathering a bit of momentum, so give it a couple of goes here. And we'll find ourselves to come up to sitting. So just taking a moment here to sit cross-legged, finding that nice tall seat, so lifting from the spine, slightly tucking the chin in towards the chest. And we're just going to explore into the neck today. So inhale, finding that nice tall spine, and then exhale, dropping chin towards chest, trying to just relax the shoulders here. Inhaling to come back to center, and then exhale, we're going to drop the head towards the left side. And taking the right fingertips, we're just going to walk them out in a straight line away from the hips here. And making sure that we're not bringing that left shoulder up to meet the ear. And when you're ready, starting to float the fingertips up. So feel free to close the eyes here as we really start to explore into the neck. You're just gently swaying the fingers towards the front here. And then slowly over towards the back. If you notice any particular spots or points of tension, you can just stay there for a moment longer. Making sure the breath stays deep here. And then when you're ready, we're going to turn the gaze to look just up over towards the right side of the ceiling of the sky. Keeping the fingers floating. Making sure that we're not collapsing into the spine here as well, sitting nice and tall. Perfect. Just allow the right fingertips to come back down to the knee, tucking the chin in towards the chest, and we'll just roll all the way over towards the right side. So same again on the other side, we're just going to walk the left fingertips this time away from the hips. And when you're ready, starting to explore into the head and the neck. Sorry. Closing the eyes, allowing your awareness to work inwards. Picking up on anything that might be coming up here. Our neck and shoulders tend to be a point in the body where we hold on to a lot of stress and tension. So, seeing as quite a stressful time at the moment, this might be a little bit sore or a little bit tight. And when you're ready, just turning that gaze to look up towards the left side of the room. And you can just allow the fingertips to float back down onto the knee, tucking the chin in towards the chest. We'll just roll back through center and inhale to lift. And exhale, dropping the shoulders. Inhale, bring the shoulders all the way up to the ears, squeeze really tightly, and then exhale, rolling them back down and away. One more time. Lifting them all the way up to the ears and then back down and away. Bring the circles in the opposite direction, so rolling them back first, up towards the ears, and then exhaling as we drop them down. One more time. Perfect. Great. We'll just come into a few hip circles here. So inhale to lean the chest towards the front of the mat. And then exhale, really exaggerating that curve in the spine here. So we bring the circles round. Trying to make a full round of breath last for a full circle here. And we'll bring the circles into the opposite direction now. gentle warm-ups that we do in our practice are really good to use to just check in and see, really feeling where the body's at this moment. So noticing maybe if the hips are feeling quite tight here. Perfect. We'll just gently come back to center. So deep. Okay. And when you're ready, we're just going to come onto all fours. So coming through tabletop, walking the big toes in towards one another, and then bringing the knees out about mat width. And just sending the hips back. We're coming into an extended child's pose here. So walking the hands forward and just allowing the forehead to drop down onto the mat here. Let the hips feel heavy. Taking a few deep breaths here. Allowing the eyes to close and the mind to quieten down. Press into the right hand here. We're going to thread the needle from our child's pose, so just pressing a little bit of weight, and we're going to walk the left fingertips underneath that space under the right hand, so all the way, and come to lie on the left ear here. A nice little shoulder release. You can keep the right hand as is, otherwise if you want to come into a bit of a bind, you can wrap that right hand all the way around and just place it on top of the left thigh. So opening up through the shoulder and the chest here. And close the eyes. Reconnecting with that breath. Perfect. So for those in the bind, just allowing the right hand to return back out in front of you. And we'll press weight back into that right hand. And then just swap over sides. So threading the right hand all the way through that space, and then just coming to lie on the right ear here. Coming into that bind, if that's what you did in the last round. And then just releasing the left hand back. Pressing weight and just bringing that right hand back out in front of you. Keeping the weight in the hands, we're just going to come up to lift onto the knees. We're going to come into cat-cow, but a little variation here, so getting deep into the hips. Inhale to open through the chest, and we're just going to make some circles as we do these cat-cows. So exhaling as you curl through the spine, sitting back towards the heels. Inhale to send the chest forward, dipping low with the belly. And then exhale, starting to press through the hands, curling through the spine. Moving nice and slow. Being mindful with movement here. And then bring the circles in the opposite direction. Perfect, and enjoying one more breath here. Great. Just coming back to settle into child's pose here for a few breaths. When you're ready, just starting to place a little bit of weight into the hands. On an inhale, we're going to bring the weight up towards the hands here and then curling the toes. And as you exhale, pressing the hips back, coming into our first downward facing dog of the practice. So take time here to pedal through the feet, lifting the hips up nice and high. Don't worry about the heels touching the mat here. Just enjoying this full body stretch and letting the head and neck hang heavy. Inhaling deeply through the nose, and then opening the mouth and sighing that breath out. Perfect. Inhale to come up onto the toes, bringing the gaze forward, and we'll just tiptoe all the way to the top of the mat. Coming to bring the feet about hip width apart, and generously bending the knees here so that we can press the torso down. We're going to take hold of opposite elbows, letting the head and neck hang heavy. Swaying gently from side to side here. Perfect. So pressing into the feet, just letting the hands hang loose, and we're going to very slowly start to roll all the way up to standing. Take your time here, one vertebra at a time. All the way to stand up in your Tadasana, in your mountain pose. So take a moment here to just roll the shoulders down and away from the ears. We're going to tuck that tailbone in, lifting up from the knees. Perfect. So inhale to bring the hands just behind you, interlacing the fingers, and then exhale as we press the palms down, lifting the gaze up and really opening up nice and wide in the chest here. Breathe deeply. And making sure we're not locking the knees out here. Inhale to lift, and then exhale, hinging forward from the hips. We're going to come down into a forward fold, bring the arms up and over. Enjoying this really nice deep shoulder stretch. One more breath here. Perfect. So releasing the hands and rolling all the way up. Really take your time, no hurried movements here. Trying to move mindfully. And we'll come back to stand in our Tadasana at the top of the mat. Inhale to lift the hands, and then we're going to take hold of the left wrist here and exhaling. Inhale to lift, and then exhale, we're going to hinge to the side, so bumping the hips out towards the left. And then enjoying this really nice side body stretch. So we're not collapsing into the right side body here, so think to pull up and over. You can turn the gaze to look underneath the left arm. Perfect. One more breath. Inhale to return to center and exhaling here. So same again on the other side. Inhale to lift, and then exhale, bump the hips to the right as we come over towards the left. Enjoying this nice crescent moon and making sure that we're spiraling open from the chest here, so we're not collapsing down into the chest, lifting the gaze. One more breath. Great. Inhale to return to center, and then exhale here. Just dropping the arms, and we'll come back to stand in our Tadasana, gaze forward. Alright. Inhale to bring the hands together, heart center. And exhaling here to drop the shoulders down the back. Inhale to lift, lifting up with the gaze as well, and then exhale, hinging forward from the hips, coming all the way down through a forward fold. Inhale to lift halfway, we'll bring the hands on top of the thighs and lengthening through the spine. And then exhaling to fold here. Making your way straight back into a high plank. So shifting the weight over the hands. Tucking in that tailbone, and then exhaling, squeezing elbows in towards chest, and then dropping knees, chin and chest down. Inhale to open up into our little cobra. So using the muscles in the lower back here, we don't need the hands, we're not pressing up through the hands here. And trying to pull the chest towards the top of the mat. Slightly tucking in the navel towards the spine, so just a slight activation of the core. And then exhale, tucking the toes, lifting the tailbone, coming into our downward facing dog, taking 3 breaths here. Perfect. Bringing the gaze towards the top of the mat. You can step, walk, or jump towards the top. Inhale to lift halfway. And then exhaling as we fold. Pressing into the feet and leading with the hands. Inhale to come all the way up to standing. And then exhale, releasing the hands back down to heart center. Inhale to lift. And then exhaling to fold. Inhale, coming up halfway. And then exhaling to fold here. This time we're going to step the left foot back. Dropping the knee, coming onto the top of the foot, coming into this low lunge, trying to squeeze the hips together in the center. Take a few breaths here. Perfect. So we'll step the right foot back, coming into our high plank. And then exhale, dropping knees, chin and chest. Inhale to open up into our little cobra. And then exhaling, coming into our downward facing dog here. Enjoying 3 breaths. Great. Looking towards the top of the mat, we're going to step the right foot now. Sorry, the left foot. And then we'll come down onto the right knee and the right top of the foot. Great. Coming into the low lunge on the other side. Squeezing those hips together. Tucking the back toes, lifting that back knee, and then on an inhale we're going to lift to come to the front and exhaling to fold. Inhale to lift halfway, and then exhale as we fold again. Pressing our feet into the mat, we're going to gently roll all the way up. And then exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale to lift the hands, and then exhaling to fold here. So generous bend in the knees here, so you can place both hands down onto the mat. And just do a few heart openers here. So inhale to tent the fingertips, pressing into the fingertips to lift the gaze, and then exhaling to fold. Really nice bend in the knees here. Inhale to lift, opening up through the chest, and then exhaling, folding one more time. Inhale to lift, and then exhaling to fold. This time bring the hips up nice and high. Try to lengthen through the legs. Perfect. We're going to come all the way back into our high plank. And then exhale, our knees, chin and chest. So this time we're going to walk the hands out about mat width apart. And then bring the feet about mat width apart too. Inhale to press into the hands. And we'll lift the whole torso off the mat here. Coming into our high cobra. So trying to pull the chest through the hands here, dropping the shoulders. Inhaling nice and deeply. And then exhale as we start to bring the nose down towards the mat. Inhale to brush the nose over towards the left as we inhale to lift. And then exhaling, coming all the way over towards the right. So just flowing with your own breath here. One more round of breath. And your next inhale, coming back through to center, lifting up really nice and high. And then exhale to release back down to the mat. We're going to walk the hands underneath the shoulders, tucking the toes, and then lifting into our downward facing dog. So stay here for 3 breaths. Nice deep breaths here. Come to the end of your last breath, bringing the gaze forward. You're going to come up onto the tiptoes, and then we're going to step all the way up towards the top of the mat. And then just pressing into the feet here as we start to rise again. Bring the hands together at heart center, and just closing the eyes, reconnecting with the breath here. Allowing everything to slow down, checking in with the body, taking a moment to see where the mind's at. Noticing how you're feeling. Blinking the eyes open, we're just going to heel toe the feet about mat width apart. And then when you're ready, we're going to come into our yogic squat. So starting to send the sit bones down. You can use the hands here to help you. To come all the way down to the mat. And then we're going to bring the elbows to the insides of the knees. Bring the hands together at heart center, and then using the elbows as we inhale to open up through the legs and the hips. Trying to stay nice and open in the chest. It's alright here if you can't bring the heels down, and if you feel like you're a little bit too unstable, just leave the hands on the mat here, just allowing for that stretch. Over time, this pose will become a little bit more available. That's really, really good for helping with posture, and also with a little bit more strengthening into the ankles. So we're going to drop the right hand just in front of us, and then inhale to press into the right leg as we start to open up through the left side, following the gaze, following the hand with the gaze, sorry. Breathing nice and deeply, opening through the chest. One more breath here. Inhale to come back through to center, and exhale to place the left hand down. Inhaling to open up through the right side now, and really pressing into that left leg, and exhaling here. Perfect. Last breath. And then exhaling, you can bring both hands and just swaying from side to side here, getting nice and deep into the hip joints. You can use your hands to help you to come back down to sitting on the mat. And then we'll just walk the legs out in front of us, leaving the left foot just pressed up against the torso here. So really pressing through the balls of the foot on the right side so you can feel the muscles in the legs start to activate. And just allow the left foot to drop here. We're going to bring hands to either side of that right foot and twisting through so that the torso is facing that foot. Inhale to lift through the hands, and then exhaling as we hinge forward, coming into our fold. So place the hands wherever is accessible for you today. That can be on the shins, on the top of the toes, down on the ground here. We're really working towards a straight spine rather than curling through to bring yourself closer to the leg. You can even bend the knee here slightly if needed. But this is an active pose, so with every inhale we're growing long through the spine, and every exhale we're coming down slightly deeper into the pose. Work with where you're at today. So noticing what might be coming up here. inhale to start to lift, and then exhaling here. We're going to bring our left hand just behind us and coming into our fallen angel. So on an inhale, we're going to swoop the right hand up as we come up onto the right foot and the left knee. And then exhaling, coming into this really nice back bend as we just let the head fall back. Really pressing into that left hand to keep the body lifted. One more breath. Inhale to activate all the way through the right fingers, and then exhaling as we come all the way down. Good job. We'll just swap over to the other side. So it takes time to bring that left foot just out in front of you, really pressing through the balls of the feet here to keep that leg nice and active. And then we're just dropping that right knee down. Okay, so making sure that we are twisting the torso so that we're fully facing that left leg. On an inhale, lift. And then exhaling, hinging forward from the hips, coming into that fold on the other side. Working with where you're at here. And also noticing the differences between the two sides. We tend to be a little bit more flexible on one side than the other, depending on just the patterns and our habits of standing and walking. So bringing this level of awareness into that as well, and noticing what sides of the body need to be strengthened and what sides need to be loosened. Again, growing with each breath here. So inhale to grow long through the spine, and exhaling to fold here. Perfect. Breathing nice and deeply. Enjoying 2 more breaths. And then when you're ready, inhaling to grow through the spine, and then exhaling to come all the way up. Place the right hand behind us this time, and then inhale to swoop up onto the right knee and the left foot, and then exhale as we come into this nice back bend on the other side. Really pressing away from the mat here with the hand. Nice and open through the chest. 1 more breath. Inhale to grow long through the fingers, and then exhaling to come all the way down. Perfect. So we're just going to walk the feet out about mat width apart, bring the hands behind us, and then just windscreen wiping the knees from side to side here. When you're ready, we'll come to lie down on the mat here, keeping the knees bent. And we'll come into our reclined pigeon or figure 4. So just lifting the left foot off the mat and placing that ankle onto the right foot, really staying active through the left foot. And picking the right leg off the mat here, and then we'll just interlace our hands in that space. Making sure the back's all the way down on the mat here. And then slowly with breath, you can begin to bring the legs closer towards the torso. Trying to keep the shoulders nice and relaxed down onto the mat here. You're ready, just releasing that right foot down. We'll just cross over to the other side here. So same again, making sure that we're really pressing out through the balls of the feet here. Keep those knees nice and protected. Maybe start to close the eyes here as we come into starting to wind down before our Shavasana. Still keeping that awareness going, noticing how the hips might be feeling, any emotions that might be coming up here. just releasing the knees. You can just bring them up towards the chest here, giving another little massage on the spine. And then letting the right leg come out long here. We'll open up the left arm, so just that onto the left side. Inhale to squeeze that knee in towards center, and then exhale as we guide it over towards our right, bringing our gaze over to our left side. So this nice supine twist here. Closing the eyes, letting the belly go soft. Maybe gently scanning through the body here, noticing any areas of tension that you might be holding on to. Any areas that you can bring a little bit of softness. The breath stays deep here. Coming back to that anchor, letting the mind just focus here on the breath. We'll inhale to come back through center. You can keep the eyes closed here. And then exhale, letting that left leg come out long. And just taking hold of the right knee this time. Hugging it up towards the chest, and we'll just open that right arm out towards our side. Inhaling here, and then as we exhale, we're going to guide the knee over towards the left side as we turn the gaze onto our right. Maybe noticing what's going on in the face. You might be clenching the jaw still, or the brow might be a little bit tense, so just bringing some softness over the face here as well. Take one more breath here. Inhale to come back through to center. And then just taking any final movements here before we settle into our Shavasana. Maybe taking hold of a blanket, just getting yourself nice and cozy and comfortable. Take time to settle in here. Again, just coming back to noticing how the body's feeling. Feeling the bones growing heavy and supported by the mat. Maybe bringing your awareness back to when we first did this in the beginning of practice. And noticing any changes, both mentally and physically. So coming to bring the awareness towards the feet on an inhale, squeezing the muscles in the feet really tightly. And exhaling to soften here. And we'll come up through the calves and the shins on an inhale, squeezing the muscles real tight. And then exhaling to soften. Coming through to the tops of the legs, the thighs on an inhale, squeeze really tight. And exhaling to release. Coming up to the glutes as we inhale, squeezing the glutes together. And exhaling as we soften. Create fists release from the hands here, and then inhaling to squeeze everything from the fingers all the way up to the tops of the arms. This might come off the mat here, and then exhale, let the hands fall open. Inhale to squeeze the shoulder blades together, feeling the chest rise. And exhale, let them slide apart. Finally coming to the face on an inhale, scrunching everything into the center, squeezing really, really, really tight. And exhaling to release. One more time, inhale to bring everything into the center of the face, squeeze really, really, really tight. And exhaling to soften. You can let go of controlling breath here. Be just giving the mind permission to stay peaceful a little bit longer. Noticing thoughts as they come in, but not getting attached, just letting them pass. Noticing sounds and sensations going on around you. Gently wiggling the toes here. Rubbing the fingertips together. And sway the head and neck from side to side. Inhaling to lift the arms, bring them up and over, placing them behind you from the mat, and as you exhale, we're going to stretch from fingertips to toes here. When you're ready, rolling onto your left-hand side, taking a final moment here. Moving mindfully, keeping the eyes closed here, we're going to come to sit up on the mats. So just bringing the legs into an easy seat, just sitting cross-legged. And bring the palms together here at heart center. Starting to rub the hands, getting a little bit of heat in between the hands here. And then inhaling through the nose, placing the hands over the eyes here, and then opening them up and sighing that breath out. Taking a moment, letting the heat transfer. Bringing the mind back to that intention or dedication you may have set in the beginning of practice. Taking a moment here for that. When you're ready, just blinking the eyelids open underneath the hands. Start to pull the hands away from the face here. Back to heart center. And namaste. I really hope you guys enjoyed this week's practice. If anyone has any requests of anything that they would like to focus on, just let me know. Thank you.